In my lifetime, I've visited hundreds of places, from London, New York City, and Paris to Machu Picchu, the Great Pyramid, and Himalayas, without leaving my room simply because I read. Reading is the easiest way we have to immerse ourselves in the world, and yet most Americans won't even pick up a book. Ray Bradbury, award-winning author of Fahrenheit 451, wrote that you don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them. A lack of reading in the United States is a very serious problem. In fact, according to Common Sense Media, 45% of teenagers read only 1 or 2 books a year. So to delve a little bit deeper into this problem, first we will look to why this is such a problem in the United States. Second, to the significance of this problem, and finally, we will open up a book and read, as in R-E-A-D, a simple 4-step solution to eliminating America's literature dysfunction. So, reading in the United States really isn't a priority. A book may seem like a common everyday item, but in reality, that's just not the case. And according to a study done by the National Endowment for the Arts, only about 50% of Americans read. But that's not even the most frightening statistic. This percentage is rapidly declining. In the past, reading was a way for people to get ahead. Think Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln grew up in an environment that really wasn't conducive to reading, but he was able to take initiative and teach himself, and eventually became one of America's most well-known presidents. But let's look at an example a little bit more recent. During World War II, Nazis burned books to stop the spread of controversial ideas in literature. And by failing to read, we're essentially doing the same thing to ourselves. We are giving up our right to ideas that our ancestors have been fighting for hundreds of years. And we are succumbing to what Ray Bradbury predicts in his novel, Fahrenheit 451. We are turning to technology in such a way that we are losing the value of reading. But this isn't a problem that is isolated to adults. Charlotte Alter, a journalist for Time magazine, wrote that in 1984, 8% of 13-year-olds and 9% of 17-year-olds never or hardly ever read. In 2014, these numbers had almost tripled to 22 and 27%. Teenagers today view reading as something that is boring or something that they simply don't have time for. But reading is actually important even beyond its face intrinsic value. So, reading is actually important to our mental and physical health. The mind is necessary in every single bodily process that keeps us alive, and yet it is still fairly common for it to deteriorate with age. Dr. Wilson, a neuro researcher based in Chicago, did a study that proves a correlation between reading and improved long-term brain health, and actually proves that reading can help to slow the onset of diseases such as Alzheimer's. But reading doesn't just help the brain. Reading is important for the body as well. According to MindLab International, reading actually helps to decrease stress levels. And as stress leads to some very serious health conditions, such as obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and even heart failure, reading helps to improve your overall health. But there's actually a very simple solution to these problems. READ. READ is an acronym that stands for Read to a Child, Express Excitement, Access to Materials, and Don't Forget Variety. The first letter, R, stands for Read to a Child. Reading to children helps them to develop a habit for later on in their lives. By making reading a part of a daily routine, whether it be before bedtime or just any time during the day, reading regularly helps them to realize that reading should be a part of their daily routine, and this is a habit that they will carry with them later in life. The second letter, E for excitement, goes hand in hand with that. By expressing excitement, we can show children that reading is something that actually has entertainment value and can be fun. The third letter, A, access, is kind of common sense. If you can't get a book to read, you cannot read it. The easier access a child has to these books, to these reading materials, the more likely it is that they will read regularly. A great place to start is the public library. The public library is designed as an environment that is conducive to reading, not to mention that there is access to thousands of reading materials. The final letter D is for don't forget variety. Variety is key in reading because books are written for many different purposes, whether it be to convey an idea, to convey information, or simply for entertainment. The more books that we are able to read or that we allow ourselves to read, the more that we can maximize the value reading has to us. So by reading many different books, we are able to broaden our horizons. So clearly reading is something that is very important in our society, but only about half of America sees it that way. Reading is the best way we have to escape our world, increase brain health, decrease stress, and simply for entertainment. So the next time that you have the opportunity to pick up a book, I suggest you do it. You never know when you might find yourself somewhere you never expected to be. Thank you.